So, what have we learned about sperm and egg cells that are relevant to earlier embryonic development? Basically, firstly, let's just talk about the properties. So, this is a sperm, it's the male gamete, and essentially it has a tail which allows for movement, which is also a flagella, and then here in the middle piece it has mitochondria. Here it has a head, and the head contains the nucleus and something called an acrosome. So the acrosome is really important, which we for the reasons we will discuss later on. So here's the sperm and here's the tail. So basically, the head of the sperm is where the money's at. So this is where the nucleus is. This is where the genetic information is. This is where the very, very, very important acrosome is. Now, the rest, okay, so the tail's important for movement. That's like its one function, okay? It's for movement. And the mitochondria is what provides, mitochondria are little powerhouses, aren't they? They provide ATP for movement. So mitochondria is going to provide us the energy for the movement, okay? And remember, they're sites of ATP synthesis. Okay, so what is the acrosome? Essentially, the acrosome is basically a number of enzymes which help the sperm to actually enter the ovum. Okay, and then basically the sperm is designed to move very, very fast. That's the key word. Now, looking at the ovum, basically there's quite a bit of a size difference. So in comparison to the egg, this is my visual representation, the sperm is this tiny. So it's that small. Here is the ovum. It's got some funny looking outer covering. This is known as the Zona Pellucida. And this Zona Pellucida is looking quite stringy, quite furry. Basically, this is composed of glycoproteins. This is my attempt at drawing a branched glycoprotein. These glycoproteins are what basically the outer covering of the is what Zona Pellucida is made up of. Within the ovum, obviously you've got the nucleus, because the main function of the gametes is to provide the genetic material, to provide the fusion of genetic material for fertilization for a human being. So what is this? This is a nucleus. There's also a plasma membrane, and then again there's plenty of mitochondria within the ovum as well, more than the sperm. How does fertilization happen? Okay, so here is a visual representation again of the ovum and the sperm. Basically, the sperm is binding to certain binding sites on the glycoprotein surface, on the Zona Pellucida. Sperm simply binds. Okay, then this acrosome, which contained enzymes, is what allows the glycoprotein layer to sort of be broken, basically. Because the acrosomal enzymes are released, the acrosome reaction occurs, and then parts of the Zona Pellucida breaks, and it's the process of the sperm entering the ovum starts. Now, so that's the acrosome reaction. There are cortical granules which also trigger within the ovum, which trigger a cortical reaction. Now, a cortical reaction is basically, so the sperm's trying to get in, and the ovum's like, okay, but the cortical granules prevent something called polyspermy, okay? They prevent polyspermy. How? Basically, the cortical granules within the ovum start to kill certain more sperm binding sites on the glycoprotein coat, so the kill glycoprotein coat on the sperm binding sites, which prevent more sperms from binding and prevent polyspermy, essentially. So, and then when this, basically the plasma membrane of this sperm and this fuses, and the genetic material fuses, and this leads to something called fertilization. Here's a little joke: cortical granules. Yeah.